On to this story now. Transformation in the property sector has been on a slow and steady incline, with several bottlenecks on the way. Our business reporter Ntokozo Khumalo is at the South African Institute of Black Property Practitioners event this evening, and she has more on what is taking place there. Ntokozo, tell us how the industry leaders are paving the way to make the industry more inclusive.
Good evening, Xolani, and you're absolutely right. Transformation in the property sector has been moving rather slowly. If we take a look at the reports by two institutions in the space, the Property Sector Charter Council as well as the Women Property Network, it shows a rather bleak picture, specifically when we look at real estate funds, of course, that are listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. But of course, the property market is a lot more than just listed entities, and to help me give or get a little bit more of a holistic picture of what's taking place within the industry, I am now joined by Kululwa Muthwa, who is the CEO of the South African Institute of Black Property Practitioners. Thank you for your time. As a starting point, can you talk us through some of the bottlenecks that the industry is still grappling with when it comes to actually driving real transformation in the property sector?
I think at the highest level, everything that underlays the participation in the sector is driven through policy. And we find that there is, some policies that seek to drive transformation, but at implementation level, we find that that is lagging behind significantly. And then we look at opportunities themselves, access to opportunities, or rather access to markets. Practitioners are ready, they have the right skills, they have started businesses, but they need to get opportunities for them to actually infiltrate, the space, grow their businesses, and climb up the corporate ladder. And at another level, it's access to finance, because even when practitioners get opportunities, those who are running businesses, they have an opportunity that they would like to, to roll out, but they can't execute because access to finance is such a big challenge. So those are some of the critical, bottlenecks when it comes to driving transformation. Yeah.
Kululwa, when we look at the gap market, which is a market made up of earners between 3.5 thousand rand and 22,000 rand, they still struggle to really enter the market or the home ownership space, largely due to some of the costs there. Surely that's an easy win segment for black professionals. Are we seeing real growth of opportunities within the affordable housing market for more black professionals to get into?
So when we're looking at that space, we're looking at it from two perspectives. The one perspective is practitioners who are playing in the housing development space, right, where they would actually build those residential properties where the individuals who would buy on the other end of the spectrum would get into. So we do see some movement in the housing, development sector in terms of, involvement of practitioners. But then again, the scope of growth and closing this gap between the haves and the have-nots is massive. So even that is still, a drop in the ocean. On the ownership side, I think, yes, it does then seek to, address home ownership for individuals who fall within that gap, and we are then seeing, housing provision for those individuals.
And just quickly, tonight we are out in Houghton, which obviously has some of the best property in South Africa. But could you tell us about what brings us together here tonight? I see some artwork that will be auctioned, and talk us through that, how this fundraiser will actually help support the institution in really driving your transformation agenda.
So one of the key things for us to be able to drive the transformation agenda, we need to have the right people who have the right skills, right, to take up any opportunities that exist in this space. And one of the interventions is through driving skills development. So the fundraiser tonight is actually, to establish a property academy, and we're looking at, formal skills We're looking at a bursary program which SIBIP has, drives, and through that program, has assisted a number of learners, to go through higher institutions, And we're also looking at enterprise and supplier development, right? Because when we're looking at skills, it's not just those who are looking to be employed, but also people who are driving their businesses to empower them with the right skills so that they are able to make the necessary impact. It's going to be a fun evening, masquerade. So after this, I'm going to be masked up, and we have got beautiful artworks. We have got a bike over there. We've got, a property that is going to be up on auction. So we are really hoping that our practitioners joining us tonight will open up their wallets, because we are impacting tomorrow's property leaders.
Kululwa, thank you so much for talking to us. I do understand you have to go back inside. Of course, that was Kululwa Muthwa, who is the CEO of the South African Institute of Black Property Practitioners, just talking us through the point of tonight's event, which of course is the Presidential's fundraiser dinner. And as she highlighted, some artwork and a property that will also be auctioned. We are about to go into the venue now to get a little bit more insight on the academy that she just touched on, which is not only an academy to really encourage young people to get into the property sector space, but also to give that buffer and support for enterprises that are already, or small business owners that are already in the sector, on just really how to scale and take more of that property sector market, Xolani. So we are about to go in now for the proceedings. So for now, I am going to have to leave it there. But we are hoping to also hear from the Minister of Human Settlements, Mamuloko Kubai, who will be joining the proceedings. Of course, Deputy President Paul Mashatile was also supposed to be with us this evening, but we've just heard that he had to cancel in the last minutes. But there's still a lot that will be taking place in this evening, Xolani.